Hello everyone, it's Jayden Baek, not Jayden Baek by the way. Anyways, okay, so to me, music is one of the greatest inventions in the history of mankind. Music is the ultimate condensation of our soul as an art, and it has some kind of a special power, that differentiates it from other forms of art. Let's take a look at paintings. You need a canvas, brush, and all those paint stuffs to barely start painting. And what about photography? You need an expensive camera, film, or a lens to take a decent shot. But music, you can just hum with your throat and that instantly becomes music. Music is the most condensed form of our soul, the most accessible form of art, but also the only intangible and invisible form of art that you need to feel with all your soul for comprehension. However, that noble form of art, the essence of our soul, is being threatened by one of our closest daily assistants, artificial intelligence. Recently, I was quite surprised by one of these playlists on YouTube. They were created by AI, but I didn't even notice any difference or had no suspicion that it was created by one of them before reading the caption that actually read that the playlist was created by one of them. And that was exactly the point on which I felt is becoming a real problem. So from now on, I'd like to talk about why AI music and its music production process should be concerned in the perspective of its authenticity, creativity, and profit-related problems. The first topic I chose is the authenticity. Authenticity simply means if the music deserves to be called as music from the first place. So before moving on to the real problem, let's take a brief look at how these AI models actually create music. First, they analyze a widely used patterns on already existing popular music, such as chord progressions, beats, and root notes. Then it adds some melodies and chords, and a full structure of song is then made. Finally, it adds some details such as sound effects, instruments, chorus, and then a full song is made. However, to me, that whole creation of sounds and the whole solid process of creating one just feels like it's a simple combination of sounds that goes well together without any discord, without any emotional or musical intention embedded within the music. Well, of course, the emotional intention embedded within the music is not always a priority for people who listen to music. Some people listen to Metallica, one of the hardest rock bands in the world, to simply relieve stress. And some people listen to Daft Punk, electronic dance music, simply to feel joyful and delighted. However, to me, the emotion embedded within the music related to the point where I talked about music being the essence of human soul, the emotional and musical intention embedded within the music should be the key component for a music to deserve to be called as music. And it also feels kind of wrong to deceive people with which are only simple imitations of human expressions of emotions. The real problem of authenticity of AI music is that its pursuit of completely understanding human emotions and perfectly imitating them could never be possible because it's only a machine. The next topic I chose is creativity. Creativity means the ability and the capability to make bold challenges to create new sounds in music. Throughout the history of mankind and the history of music, music has developed ceaselessly, whether it was the change in the genre of the music or in the components within the music, such as the instruments or the how it is composed. Let's take a look at how the legendary rock band, the Beatles, created psychedelic rock genre in the 1960s. They used new methods such as tape loops, backward sounds, and automatic double tracking. And there are tons and tons of more examples. Take a look at Nujabes, who created the lo-fi pop genre, Radiohead, who collaborated rock music with electronic music. Billie Eilish, she created whisper pop, and Eminem, Michael Jackson, you've got tons and tons of more examples. My concern is does AI really have the capability to make those kind of bold challenges these artists made in their own field of music? Well, I guess not, because as I mentioned before, how AI, the mechanism of AI creating music, is only a simple combination of features extracted from already existing music. And even if it succeeds to make those kind of bold challenges, to make new combination of sounds, how's it gonna know that it's possible to the public if it has no data to compare with? And the final topic, the most practical topic, is the profit-related problems. As music develops and AI evolves, it is stepping on human artists who create all the components for their music by creating hundreds and thousands of possible music in the same time on which a single human artist can create a single piece of decent music. So for experiment, I did ask Suno AI myself, an AI model that creates music according to my request. I asked Suno AI to create a 4-minute song with a whole full session orchestra in a Disney style, and it did the job within 2 minutes. I was pretty astonished by 2 points down here. Well, the first was obviously, I did ask an AI model to create a 4-minute song with a whole full session orchestra, and it did the job within 2 minutes. Isn't that astonishing? The second point was that it resembles the exact idea and the concept of music I had in mind. Well, of course, adjusting the exact tones, the exact pitch and notes would take me a bit longer, but at least it wouldn't take me a whole day to analyze a full song. Well, let's say that I were to create a music without any assistance from those artificial intelligence models. It would obviously at least take me a few days to choose the right player, to choose the right instrument, orchestra, the right recording studio, and etc. Thus, using AI models gives an outrageous advantage to users who create music using AI models. And also because the public can't now really tell the big difference between those AI created sounds and authentically human-made music. Music is the sound that flows from the bottom of our hearts. And that as music and AI models develop, the problem of AI music is getting bigger and bigger. If we lose authentic human music to AI music, which are only simple imitations of human emotions, we risk losing the essence of our soul and the initial purpose for art and music. So from now on, from simply asking if the music sounds possible, we should be asking how was the music created and for what purpose the music was created. As I said, music is the soul and the vibe that we feel and flows from the bottom of our heart. It's time to be the protectors of authentic human music and to not be passive listeners anymore. Thank you.